Alrighty, we got the animals here. It is Veterans Day of 2025. Talk a little bit about veterans and my family, friends, people you know. You know, my grandpa on my dad's side was in the Army in World War II. He was part of General Eisenhower's honor guard and also guarded prisoners, SS prisoners over in Europe, in Berlin. And then the other grandpa on my mom's side, he was in the 4th Division Marines Amphibious Assault, so he did island hopping. Okinawa, Iwo Jima, Saipan, made it out of there, which was pretty crazy. He had a cousin, two cousins actually, pass away in World War II. One was in Germany in a forest. He got shot and got a Purple Heart, and then they sent him back out, and then he died fighting. He had a wife and two small kids, and then the other cousin died in the waters of Iwo Jima, around Iwo Jima in the Pacific. I think he's buried at sea. My grandpa did not find that out about that until he got home. So that is interesting facts. The grandpa who was a Marine on my mom's side had two brothers, and they were in the Navy each. I had a great uncle, the grandpa Marine. The grandpa Army guy, my dad's side. His brother, so my grand uncle, he was flying planes in Korea when the Army, before the Air Force was, their separate branch. He was flying planes. Before that, my mom's side, my grandpa's dad, so my great grandpa, he was in the Army in World War One, over in France. Then I had another grandpa on my dad's side, a great grandpa on my dad's side, World War One, Marines. Right after he came over from the Netherlands. And then I had on the other side, well, that was my dad's mom's side. So my great grandpa. And then the other great grandpa on my dad's side, from his dad, the Army guy in World War II, his dad was in the Merchant Marines in the Netherlands during the World War I time when they were neutral before they came over. And then, but a lot of my mom's side, German, English, Welsh. On that side, we had War 1812. An ancestor got shot. He lived. Or no, I believe he died later from it. And then before that, Civil War. Sorry, after that, it was Civil War in the North for Ohio. And then he lived. And then Revolutionary War. And even before that, I found an ancestor in the 1750s in the the French Indian War, when he was abducted by some Indians after his family was killed, and then he eventually got out of there and served in the military. That was a pretty crazy story. Let's see, other family members. No one in Vietnam. A lot of friends, classmates, and stuff, and parents' friends, and Gulf War, Desert Storm, the Iraq, Afghanistan, the Global War of Terror. Some older folks from church and work and stuff, and peacetime, Cold War, even some Vietnam. So yeah, lots of military backgrounds in that, a lot of areas. Let's see, other family members in the war. I know my grandpa, he was over in Europe, said the SS were scary. They were huge when he was guarding them in the prisons, like right when, Germany fell. And then my grandpa in the Marines, island hopping, Iwo Jima, Okinawa, Saipan. He saw the flags raised in those islands. But yeah, on my wife's side, I had both grandparents in World War II. One was in the Marines, the other, I believe, the Army. And let me think what else. Family members, I think that's most of them. So yeah, there's veteran, most areas of life you can see, coworkers, friends, family, teachers, all that. I know in the Knights of Columbus and the Catholic Church, there's a lot. Father Emile Capon, I think I've read about a priest, Patrick Duffy, offering sacraments to soldiers and how, they persevered back then. We've seen the movies like Hacksaw Ridge, Band of Brothers, all that. It's part of our culture, our heritage, our history. It's, it's always interesting to read, those time periods and what they went through and how fast things can change. But yeah, my grandpa, who was in the Marines and saw the fighting, he didn't really talk much about that. So, I know his brother, the one in the Navy, one of them was in the Navy. The other one was also in the Navy, but he went to Cuba at Guantanamo Bay. We saw a letter from that. That was neat. We've seen draft cards from World War One and World War Two. My grandparents, great grandparents. So 3 great grandparents, both grandparents. Or actually all 4. Or I don't know, my mom's grandma's dead. I'm not sure. I don't think so. Could be wrong. But yeah, then on my mom's side, the Civil War for the North. That was interesting. But yeah, it is always something to remember. And then, friends leaving for long periods of time, coming back 4 years and out, 8 years and out, it matters. It's important. And I know, talking to lots of the Knights of Columbus members, a lot of them were in Vietnam and older, and, it's always good to see their takes and talk to them about stuff, because how fast things can change. And yeah, sports heroes, you see their stories. I know I've been reading a book on Sam Adams, so a lot of that revolutionary time period, all they fought for and risked. And then now, and we got people still out there doing the work, doing the job. But yeah, it's always to think what your grandparents would do during that time. Because I know my dad, in his senior year of high school is when Nixon ended the draft, because he had a really high draft number, so he would have probably went. So he was not a part of that. I had an uncle who was drafted for Vietnam, but then got excused for some medical thing. And then an uncle who was in college for ROTC, and then the war, ended. So, more direct relatives in that aspect. Yeah. So, happy Veterans Day. Never forget all the sacrifices. Yeah.